Hey everybody, welcome to Gary E's Sketch Cards. This is episode number 11, and this week I've decided to do The Punisher. A couple of weeks ago, it was announced that the actor Jon Bernthal, who played Shane on The Walking Dead, another one of my favorite shows, is playing Frank Castle, or The Punisher, a character coming up in the next season of Daredevil on Netflix. I remember kind of binge watching Daredevil. It wasn't the weekend that it came out, but it was the weekend after, and I remember binge watching it over a couple of days, and man, it was a really great series. I really liked it. And when I heard that Jon Bernthal was coming on to play the Punisher, I was doubly excited because I really liked Jon Bernthal as an actor. I liked him in The Punisher. Haven't seen any of his other feature films yet, so working on that. And But I've also been a big fan of The Punisher. I actually had the miniseries comic book that first came out in the 80s. I had all 5 issues of those, rather, and it introduced me to the artist Mike Zeck. And Mike Zeck was one of my favorite comic book artists for a long time, and still is. I really tried emulating his style when I was sort of coming up in high school and drawing in college and that, and then sort of gravitated away from it, but it always stuck with me. He was always one of those artists that when you saw his work, you kind of knew who it was, and it was very, very unique and very fluid, and I always thought it was a great style. So anyway, what I'm doing here is, again, I'm blocking in a lot of the details in that. I will admit that I tried another version of this card that didn't quite work. I sort of did a practice on it, and it really didn't look like Bernthal, but just kind of. I also didn't like the pose that I had on it, so I sort of got rid of that. And you can't keep anything, or keep everything, I should say, when you're doing these. And if it's not turning out, I think I've said it before in another episode, if it's not turning out, gets to a point to where you just kind of need to throw it aside and sort of move on to the next one. So, but I really like how this one turned out, and hopefully you will too as we move along. So this sketch card this week kind of sent me off in another direction. I actually had to use 2 pieces of photo reference. The first was everything from the neck down, including the hand, the gun, the chest, the logo and everything, the jacket. And the second photo reference was just a picture of Jon Bernthal, and I tried my best here to marry the two together into one flawless piece, and I think I did an okay job, and I hope you'd agree. Like this and share it if you agree. If not, leave a comment below and let me know what I could have changed, or if you like it, leave a comment below, because that would be awesome too. I always like getting the good comments. I really like the idea of the logo. I realized kind of partway through that the logo was going to be a bit too big to put on the chest, and so I had to make it a little bit smaller. I kind of had to make an audible there and sort of scale it down a bit just to show part of it there. You'll see it at the bottom. It's kind of outlined. There's the skull top and the eye socket, I guess. But I like the idea, and I think I saw this on one of the comics in one of the local comic shops here, the idea of the mask, like a mask that covers up the nose and mouth and bottom half of the face, essentially, with the Punisher logo. I kind of thought of this idea, this was probably about a year and a half ago, a couple years ago, when I saw a paintballing video on YouTube, and a bunch of the guys had these masks for protection, but they had the kind of skull teeth and nose and everything there, and it looked pretty intimidating. And I really thought that would be cool for the Punisher to use. And again, like I said, I think I saw it on a comic book where he's actually using it. The problem with using that in a show would be you'd cover up Bernthal's face, obviously. You don't want to do that unless you have need for a stunt double, I imagine, during the action scenes. So maybe I could see the producers of Daredevil going that way in the next season during some of the bigger stunt sequences where they have a stunt double in there. I could see them doing that. But here I just decided to kind of go with the face. Obviously, you don't want to cover up Bernthal's face if that's what you're doing. So you want to have the fan art actually make sense. And I think it makes sense to keep the mask off of him. I'd like to take this moment to kind of give a special shout out to all the subscribers. I know that there have been subscribers kind of jumping on board here, a couple a week here and there, and I think as of this taping, I'm up to 16, which some of you out there are going to listen to that and probably laugh your heads off, but that's 16 more than I had a month ago. So, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching these videos and leaving feedback and comments. But, yeah, this is Jon Bernthal as the Punisher. This is a piece of fan art for Daredevil Season 2. Hope you like it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next week.